Welcome to a new daily series, which was inspired by so many of your comments and your feedback that I got from the first book that changed my life, which is The Energy Bus. I know that series is not done yet. It is still a work in progress. There's a lot of work to put everything from a book into a single video. So it'll continue as our journey continues. But after I finish the 21 Days of Goals series, I mentioned that this book could be a possibility, and here we are. But there are a number of reasons that I chose The Energy Bus. And the first reason is the chapters are super short, making them easy for you to read, to digest, and to follow along, no matter how busy you are in this season of life. But more importantly, because the story is such a powerful one, and I believe it could be life-changing for so many of you. So my goal in this series is to help you lead your teams or yourself towards a positivity reset. Now, those of you who wanted to walk through this book with your team, all you got to do is have them pick up a copy of this book. Then they can watch the video that goes with the chapter that they're reading for the day. And the daily reflections are going to lead to your weekly discussions that you have with them. And here's my promise. You're going to have a totally different team a month from now. I certainly did. Now, those of you who just want to walk through the book casually and you want a positivity reset for yourself, get the book, watch the daily videos. They're going to be helpful for you too. My encouragement, though, is find somebody to discuss this with and have a place where you keep your notes so that you can go back to some of the thoughts that you had early on. Now, either way you decide to do this, I think this journey is going to be so worth it for you because this is a book that has pulled me and those that I've led out of seasons of negativity or slumps a number of times. And that's because it holds such a rich message and a powerful story about a positive mindset. And I'm excited to revisit it with you chapter by chapter and uncover some of the insights that over the years have shifted my perspective or that have helped me recharge my mindset. But it truly has been a while since I've gone cover to cover on this book, and I'm looking forward to experiencing it again with you. So let's dive into chapter 1. If you haven't read chapter 1 or don't have the book, just pause me. Go get it on your Kindle, on your Audible, get a hard copy from the local store, from Amazon, and let's get started together. So, chapter 1 opens up where we meet our character, George. And George, well, he's having a bad day. Scratch that. He's having a bad season in his life right now. The kind of season where everything feels like it's falling apart, where one more setback feels like it pushes you so far in the red, you'll be unable to recover. And it only takes a few paragraphs before we see that George is actually drowning in overwhelm. His stress has consumed so much of his life that he's missing everything that's going on around him. And his recent flat tire is not the cause of all his problems, but it's the final straw. It's the straw that broke the camel's back. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been so weighed down by responsibilities, frustrations, pressures, that the smallest inconvenience, well, it feels like a breaking point? Maybe you feel that way right now. Well, if so, you're in the right place. Because my first big takeaway of the book, and this is our takeaway for chapter 1, is that when we're in a state of overwhelm, like George, or like you might be in, we end up becoming very self-centered. And not in a selfish way, but in a survival mode kind of way. Because we're consumed by stress, and that keeps us from noticing the people around us. We become blind to joy, disconnected from the present, and even fixated on everything that's going wrong. And I think there's a powerful and heartbreaking line on page 2. It says, George was like a reluctant celebrity in his own home. You see, he was physically present, but mentally and emotionally, George wasn't there. He was absent. His stress had made him blind to the moments that mattered the most. And even when his wife was listing off all the things on her plate, George couldn't even see beyond his own frustration. but there's a ray of hope because George meets Joy near the end of our chapter. And George doesn't realize it yet, but he's stepping on Joy's bus, and it's about to change his life because Joy sees people like George every day. People who are stressed, drained, walking around like zombies with their energy and their spirit sucked away from the daily grind. Because here's the truth. George and Joy, they see the world in two different ways. And on page 6, we actually get a glimpse into George's perspective. He says, sure, she can be all cheery and smile at me, but she knows nothing about me. She doesn't know the stress I deal with each day. She doesn't know the responsibilities I face at work and at home. Wife, boss, kids, employees, deadlines, mortgage, car payment, and a mom who is sick with cancer. She doesn't know how drained I feel. But here's the truth. Joy knew exactly what kind of person George was in the moment. She's seen it before. People who had settled, people who had dimmed their own light, who had given up on their dreams. And if that's you, I want to welcome you to the bus. If you feel like you've given up on your dreams, I want to encourage you, don't give up. Don't give up. Stay with me on this journey and see how Joy is going to change George's life, because she just might change your life too. So here's my reflection question for you. Each day, I'm going to give you a reflection question. Today's question is, how do you see the world around you right now? Are you fully present, or are you missing moments like George? And I want you to really take a moment to reflect on that. And don't be afraid to write notes in your book. You should write notes in your book. This thing should be all marked up. You should have something to look back on your journey and see what you were thinking and the insights that you learned. Well, that brings us to the end of chapter 1. I'm excited to, again, see how it goes for George. I'll see you tomorrow.